Zeo Education Society, redefining excellence.
Welcome back. In the previous lecture, we have seen 4 properties of Z transform. In this lecture, we will cover the remaining 4 properties. So let us start with the 5th property. That is convolution in time domain. This property is very useful in finding out the system output. If you have a discrete time system with impulse response, say h of k, and input applied is x of k, then finding out its y of k requires convolution of x of k with h of k. And we have to perform the convolution sum operation. Now let us find, is there any alternative to perform this analysis in Z domain. So that for that purpose this is the property. So if x1 of k taken Z transforms gives me x1 of z, and x2 of k taken Z transform gives me x2 of z, then x1 of k convoluted with x2 of k, this is the sign for convolution, taken Z transform gives me x1 of z into x2 of z. And that means convolution in time domain corresponds to multiplication in Z domain. This is also applicable or useful in finding out the multiplication of transfer functions of 2 blocks in series. Whenever they are in time domain, you have to perform the convolution, but in Z domain directly you can perform the multiplication. Now let us prove it. First let us write down the formula for convolution sum. x1 of k convoluted with x2 of k is equal to summation m equal to 0 to infinity x1 of m into x2 of k minus m. So now this convolution sum is expressed with this formula. Now we have to take Z transform of this. So Z transform of x1 of k convoluted with x2 of k is nothing but summation k equal to 0 to infinity, and this is the signal of which we want to find out the Z transform. So summation m equal to 0 to infinity x1 of m x2 of k minus m, and it will be multiplied with z raised to minus k. Now what I will do, I have to perform summation with respect to operator k on this. Now this variable consists of the k, this also consists of k, so they must be there in the series of k. But this x1 of m has nothing to do with series of k, so I can take it out and I can change the order of summation. So it will be summation m equal to 0 to infinity x1 of m into summation k equal to 0 to infinity x2 of k minus m z raised to minus k. Now what is this? This is the Z transform of x2 of k minus m. So what I will do, I will do it here, but summation k equal to 0 to infinity x2 of k minus m z raised to minus k equal to Z transform of x2 of k minus m. And now let us use the property of time shifting, property of Z transform, time shifting in time domain. And this will be what? Z raised to minus m x2 of z. So I will rewrite this using this step. So Z transform of x1 of k convoluted with x2 of k has now become summation m equal to 0 to infinity x1 of m and then into z raised to minus m into x2 of z. Now in this expression x2 of z is not having any variable m, so I can take it out and I will put here a bracket. This is possible. And what is this? This is x1 of z, which is equal to say x1 of z into x2 of z. Hence proved. And what is the applicability of this? Let us find its applicability also. Say for example, we have a system. This is a system having say impulse response g of k, and we are applying the input say x of k, and we are getting output y of k. And in this case, what is y of k? So what is output? So if you are interested in finding out the output response of this system having impulse response g of k for the known input x of k, what to do? By convolution. So y of k is convolution of x of k and g of k, and now taking z transform, what I get? So y of z is equal to x of z into g of z, where g of z is the pulse transfer function of the system. The concept of pulse transfer function will be covered in this course in next lectures, or say after covering the entire z transform we will move to concept of pulse transfer function. So then what I can get? So y of k will be then equal to inverse z transform of x of z into g of z. So if I have x of k, I can find out x of z. I can take z transform impulse response to get pulse transfer function. So if I have pulse transfer function and input signal, I can do this operation. Exactly, we are going to do this while doing the analysis of the system. So this is one of the application of this property. Let us move to the next property. Property number 6 is differentiation in Z domain. So what it says, if you have a signal x of k, when take a Z transform gives you x of z, then kx of k taken z transform gives you minus z d by dz of x of z. First let us prove this property and then we will solve some examples on it. So z transform of k x of k will be equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity k x of k z raised to minus k. Now solving this summation becomes difficult, and hence what we will do, by property will come to this. So the first step will be, I will make some mathematical adjustments and I will take one z common out of this, and it can be taken out because this summation is related to k only. So I will take one z common, and then this will be equal to k equal to 0 to infinity k x of k z raised to minus k minus 1. Now I will do another mathematical adjustment and I will make this minus z, and this will be k equal to 0 to infinity, and I will take this as x of k into minus k z raised to minus k minus 1. Now let us take one identity that we have d by dz of z raised to minus k. What it will be? It is with respect to z, so it will be minus k z raised to minus k minus 1. It is nothing but this one, and hence z transform of kx of k now modifies to, this is minus z summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k and d by dz of z raised to minus k. Now with reference to z, if we talk about x of k, it is a constant and can be taken inside. So this is equal to minus z summation k equal to 0 to infinity d by dz of x of k z raised to minus k. Now this d by dz has nothing to do with this summation, and hence this also can be taken out. Minus z d by dz of summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k z raised to minus k. And now what is this? This is x of z. So I can write this as minus z d by dz of x of z. And where it is used? Let us see one example. So what we have, we already have it, and we have done it in the table Z transform of standard signals. We have Z transform of k is equal to Z upon Z minus 1 whole square. We have it. Now let us do it by property. So let us do it by using property. So what we have, x of k say equal to k, and what we have to do, find x of z. So what I will do, let x1 of k is equal to 1. So x1 of z will be z upon z minus 1. We have this. The z transform of 1 is z upon z minus 1, which is standard. And also what we have now, x of k will be equal to k x1 of k. And so now x of z, using this property, what I get, minus z d by dz of this, that is x1 of z. So this is equal to minus z into d by dz of, what is x of z, x1 of z, z upon z minus 1. Now let us find out its derivative. So it will be minus z into bracket z minus 1 into derivative of z is 1. So z minus 1 minus z into derivative of z minus 1 is 1. So this is z divided by z minus 1 whole square. This is u by v rule of derivative. And this is nothing but minus z in the bracket minus 1 upon z minus 1 whole square, and that is z upon z minus 1 whole square. The same we have got. So if you do this by the classical definition, that is x of z is equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k z raised to minus k, and if you put there x of k equal to k, then finding out the series summation k equal to 0 to infinity k z raised to minus k is difficult or time consuming, or you need to remember so many things. So instead of remembering so many things, just remember this, then by using property do this. Let us move for the last two properties, which are also very useful. The first one is initial value theorem. So this initial, and the last one is final value theorem. So this initial value theorem and final value theorem are useful in finding out the initial values and final values of the system response if the function is given in z domain. So in general, what you need to do, if the function is given in z domain, first you have to convert it into the time domain. So x of z to x of k by taking z inverse z transform and then put the value of k. So it is time consuming, but if you have x of z, from x of z itself you can find out the initial value of x of k, that is x of 0, and final value of x of k, that is x of infinity. It is possible. So let us do it one by one. So what it says, initial value theorem, it says if x of k taken z transform gives me x of z, then limit k tends to 0 x of k, and that is equal to x of 0, and that is equal to limit z tends to infinity x of z. So if you have x of z, then by putting z equal to infinity or z solving this limit, you can find out the initial value. Let us prove it. Now what we have x of z is equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k z raised to minus k. And then let us expand this series. So after expanding this series, what we will do, we will put k equal to 0, solve this, plus put k equal to 1, solve this, plus k equal to 2, solve this, till k equal to infinity. Okay, so let us put k equal to 0. So this is x of 0 into z raised to 0 is 1, plus x of 1 z raised to minus 1, plus x of 2 z raised to minus 2, and so on till x of infinity. And now what I will do, I will apply the limit z tends to infinity. So this is x of z. So limit z tends to infinity x of z will be equal to limit z tends to infinity operated on this x of 0 plus x of 1 z raised to minus 1 plus x of 2 z raised to minus 2, so on. So if I put z equal to infinity in this function, this z raised to minus 1 becomes 0, z raised to minus 2 becomes 0, and all negative powers of z will become 0, and this term will vanish. So this is nothing but x of 0. Now I will exchange RHS to LHS and LHS to RHS. So solving upon this, I get x of 0, which is equal to limit z tends to infinity x of z. It is proved. Very straightforward. And now let us solve an example to see its applicability. Example is, say, determine initial value of x of k if x of z is equal to 2z square plus 3z plus 7 divided by z square plus 4z plus 3. And let us start solving it. Solution. We have initial value of x of k means x of 0 is equal to limit z tends to infinity x of z, that is in this case limit z tends to infinity 2z square plus 3z plus 7 divided by z square plus 4z plus 3. Now if I put here z equal to infinity, this becomes infinity and this also becomes infinity. So it is indeterminate form. And then you can go by L'Hospital rule and you can proceed with the L'Hospital rule till you get a determinate form. Or otherwise, in this case, what I I propose that it is better to divide numerator and denominator by z square. So then x of 0 becomes limit z tends to infinity. I divide numerator and divided by z square. So this becomes 2 plus 3z raised to minus 1 plus 7z raised to minus 2 divided by 1 plus 4z raised to minus 1 plus 3z raised to minus 2. And now you put the limits. Now if you put the limits, this becomes 0, this becomes 0, this becomes 0, this becomes 0. So 2 plus 0 is 2 and 1 plus 0 is 1. So it's 2. And that means the initial value of this particular x of k with having z transform given by x of z is 2. This way you can find out the initial value. Now let us proceed for the last property of z transform of our interest, and that is final value theorem. Now what it says, if you have x of k taken z transform x of z, then limit k tends to infinity x of k, that will be equal to x of infinity, and it is equal to limit z tends to 1 z minus 1 into x of z. So let us prove it. The proof is little bit tricky. Now what we have x of z is equal to z transform of x of k equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k z raised to minus k. Correct. Now let us use the time shift property of z transform and let z transform of x of k minus 1 will be equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k minus 1, this is the signal, z raised to minus k, and that is equal to z raised to minus 1 into x of z. So now what I will do subtraction of these two. I will subtract this from this, and hence what I get, x of z minus z raised to minus 1 x of z, and that is equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k z raised to minus k minus summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k minus 1 z raised to minus k. And so I will take x of z common from this. So 1 minus z raised to minus 1 into x of z is equal to summation k equal to 0 to infinity. If you look at these two series, both are having same limit, both are having same factor of multiplication z raised to minus k. So I can do it like this: x of k minus x of k minus 1 z raised to minus k. And further this can be written as 1 minus z raised to minus 1 is 1 minus 1 by z, that is z minus 1 by z into x of z, and this will be equal to same term summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k minus x of k minus 1 z raised to minus k. And now what I will do, I will apply this limit on both sides. So limit z tends to 1 z minus 1 by z into x of z equal to limit z tends to 1 summation k equal to 0 to infinity x of k minus x of k minus 1 z raised to minus k. Now apply the limits. You may have a doubt that if I apply here 1 minus 1 0, you cannot do so. First you have to check this x of z also may contain some terms of z. So you have to first check for possible cancellation of z minus 1. Otherwise you cannot apply directly if it becomes 0. If it does not become 0, you can apply. So here you cannot apply, you have to maintain it like this only. So this limit z tends to 1 will remain as it is, z minus 1. If I apply this z tends to 1, yes, you can apply. This is 1 and this is x of z, and this is equal to, if I apply limit z tends to 1, this becomes 1. So after applying the limits, I get here which is equal to k equal to 0 to infinity x of k minus x of k minus 1. And now what I will do, I will expand this. So first put here k equal to 0. So this is equal to x of 0 minus x of minus 1 plus put k equal to 1. This becomes x of 1 minus x of 0. Then k equal to 2. It becomes x of 2 minus x of 1 and so on. So what happens, you can see here, this x of 0 gets cancelled here. This x of 1 gets cancelled here. This x of 2 will get cancelled in the next term, and as you go on proceeding till infinity, finally you will have only two terms. One will be minus x of minus 1 and the other will be x of infinity. Now as this is unilateral Z transform and the signal is causal, x of minus 1 will be equal to 0. So I will do it here. So limit z tends to 1, z minus 1 into x of z, this will be equal to minus x of minus 1 plus x of infinity. But for causal sequences, why we can do this here? Because we are taking the properties of unilateral Z transform, means all the signal must be causal. X of minus 1 equal to 0, and hence limit z tends to 1, z minus 1 x of z is equal to x of infinity. This is proved. It is proved. Now let us take the same example which we have taken for the initial value theorem, and we will find out its final value. I will call it example, because see, if we take example along with the property, you get the relevance of its use. Otherwise, just learning the properties and their proofs is of no use for the engineer. It is useful for the mathematician, but for engineers we need to apply it to our application. Like here in this course, we are going to apply it to the digital control systems, and that is why we need to know. And what we are doing here, in step by step we are learning the applications, and finally we will combine all the things. Then you will get the exact relevance of Z transform. Why we are learning Z transform? So here the example is, determine the final value of x of k if same x of z we will take 2z square plus 3z plus 7 divided by z square plus 4z plus 3. And now let us see the solution. So by final value theorem, we have x of infinity is equal to limit z tends to 1, z minus 1 x of z. So in this case it will be limit z tends to 1, z minus 1 into 2z square plus 3z plus 7 upon z square plus 4z plus 3. Now before applying the limit, first check for possible cancellation. Now this denominator is z square plus 4z plus 3, which has root z plus 1 into z plus 3. So this cancellation is not possible, and now we can apply the limits. So if we apply the limits, this is 0, and 0 into, even if we put here the limits, 0 into anything is 0. So in this case, the final value is 0. So far now we have covered all the properties of Z transform which are useful for us. It is enough in this lecture. From the next lecture, we will start the concept of inverse Z transform. Let us meet again. Thank you.